What kind of waves are you expecting? And as a scientist, what will you be looking out for when the waves come in?
Yeah, so a tsunami wave is extremely different than your typical ocean wave that you see when you go down to the beach. It's a very long wavelength, long period wave. So when this wave does arrive, it will take quite a while for it to finish its coming on to shore and then receding. Um,
Mm.
and there may be several episodes of it. So that is part of why a tsunami wave is so dangerous, is it's very much just like a torrent of floodwater coming at you at the coastline compared to the typical waves that you see down at the beach.
Yeah, we heard from the governor of Hawaii who said, first of all, residents get away from the coast, go up country, go to higher ground. But he also said that this potential tsunami could, quote, wrap around the islands. Is that what we're expecting here? That the tsunami waves will wrap around the islands in these sort of concentric circles and come in and out for a period of time?
So when a tsunami wave is propagating over the open ocean, there's not many barriers for it to hit. So it
Yeah.
propagates outwards. As it approaches these coastal areas, you have a lot of really complex geometry, not only along the coastline, but in what we call the bathymetry or the topography of the seafloor. And all of those things can have really significant impacts on how the wave comes up to the coastline, where it might amplify. And so that's some of what they're talking about. To be aware of that it's not just the coastlines that are facing the direction that the wave is coming from, that there may actually be very complicated patterns as it arrives here.
So when these waves do come up to Hawaii's coastline, which is expected in just over half an hour from now, what kind of damage could they incur?
So like I said, it can be more like flooding than your
Yeah.
typical ocean wave. And so those are the kinds of impacts that one might be worried about in terms of infrastructure in coastal and low-lying areas. That is also why it is so important for people to evacuate the areas, right? Water moving quickly can really knock a person down quite easily. You don't need a lot of it. And so it's
Mm.
very, very dangerous. This will also be happening pretty close to high tide here, which will
Mm.
potentially amplify the impacts as well.
Okay. Now, Professor, you're an expert in earth sciences there at the University of Hawaii. You're also a resident of Hawaii. Could you give us a sense of just the mood on the ground? What kind of alerts have gone out there? How prepared are residents for the waves when they start coming in?
Yeah, so I've been getting alerts since around 2 p.m. or so local time. I'm kind of losing track at this point, but definitely I've been getting
Mm.
alerts regularly on my mobile phone through emails. Earlier in the day, all state employees were ordered to go home. Fortunately, I live in an area that's not an evacuation zone, and so in that case, you're advised to, go at home and stay off the roads as much as possible. I've heard that there's been traffic and congestion for people that are trying to get out of the low-lying areas. So again, that's why it has been so important to get these messages out early so that we can evacuate those areas by the time the waves do arrive. But in general, over the last several hours, it's been a lot of alerts and news traveling around to people here.
And quickly, Hawaii, where there's limited landmass and a lot of coast, where do people go to evacuate?
Yeah, so fortunately, Hawaii has a lot of topography. So
Mm.
unlike some other locations that are very flat, we do actually have places where you can get to high elevations fairly quickly.
Mm.
And so there's very well published evacuation maps. And so the
Mm.
priority is really to get to higher ground.
All right, Professor Janiszewski, thank you so much for joining us. Get to higher ground. Be safe to you, all your colleagues, and your friends and family as well. Take care, and thank you for your insights.
Thank you.